Well, that's your problem right there. All right, so we're back with the mini skid steer, the one that had the blown motor, and it's time to diagnose and fix some of the other problems that I'm having with this machine. Most of them are kind of based right here in the fact that somebody cracked the mounting plate for all the attachments. Now, of course, the guy that I bought it from failed to mention that this was broken. And what I think happened was, I know he did tell me that this was rented by a tree company, so I have a feeling they tried to push something over with this and they cracked this. So I'll get a little bit closer shot of this, and my plan is to not replace this plate, but to fix it. So we're gonna do that today. All right, so herein lies my problem. We've got, this feels like about 1/4 inch plate, and this is just kind of a bent and fabricated mounting plate. And from the looks of it, well, there's a couple things wrong with it. One, we've got a broken Zerk fitting over there. I think these toggles are kind of shot, and this plate is cracked almost all the way through and pretty bent. You can probably also see that this bar is bent, and I think maybe they tried to lift something heavy with this. Looks like they cracked it over here. So today's plan is to try to get this thing cut, straightened, and also get this bar heated up and straightened. And I'm thinking, in order to do this without potentially messing up the alignment of the whole machine, I think I want to do this all on the machine and maybe even use the hydraulics to my advantage to sort of push this thing around and get it nice and straight. So let's get into it.
Well, that idea quickly went out the window when I realized that trying to bend this using the hydraulics and weld it on the machine would be pretty difficult. So I'm going to go ahead and take it off. Now you can see that the thing still functions and it doesn't bind up, but there's definitely some tightness in the pins. I can sort of feel it, and I want to make sure that I can get everything freed up. Now there's a broken Zerk fitting on that pin closer to the camera, and you can see that when I go to take the pin out, it's basically seized. So I'm going to be using some WD-40 Specialist Penetrance Spray to try to loosen that up. And this video is sponsored by WD-40 brand. And this stuff works great. It really helps loosen up rust and really loosen up any stuck parts. I use it on all different things, and it's got that easy reach nozzle on the end, so I can kind of get into hard to reach places. I think what happened when that Zerk fitting broke, it was allowing water to get in there. So you'll see when I get that pin out, it's pretty corroded. Now the other one, the Zerk fitting was fine, and even that one was kind of tight. You can imagine that everything on this being bent definitely is binding against the pins. So I take a piece of brass bar stock that I had, and I use it as sort of a punch to bang these out. And there you can see how rusty that pin is. Once I get that out, the whole piece falls down. You can see I've still got to try to get this pin out, which is pretty much seized in there. A little bit more of the penetrant spray, and I'm able to get that out. And then from there, I can kind of look at this thing and see what I need to do to get it fixed. Now, the first thing I decided to do was try to straighten it on my arbor press. Now, because it's pretty bent, you can see how it's not sitting flat. I thought I might try to flatten it out before I even bring it over into the welding shop and work on it on the table. Now, I took the pieces from my Swag off-road press brake kit, and I used those as little kind of bending blocks and spacers to give myself some little bit of room so that I could start bending it. And you can see I've already got it kind of flat, but by flattening it, I opened up that crack pretty wide. I decided to take off these pins so it would be easier to work on, and I'll be working on those a little bit later in the video. Now you can really see how damaged this thing is. By straightening it out, I opened up that crack really bad, and I decided here that I wanted to try to align these sleeves. And the way I decided to do that, this is a metric size. I think it was a 50 millimeter pin. So I went on Amazon and I actually found a 50 millimeter shaft for about $65, and I'm going to be using that as an alignment pin throughout this project. Now, the first thing I decided to do was just go ahead and kind of clean this thing and cut it in half because it only had about 2 inches of material left. And I figured I'm going to have to do so many repairs to this, I might as well just split it and then reattach it in one piece in the correct orientation. Now, there are a bunch of cracks all over this, and pretty much everywhere that you see me grinding is a crack that needs to be welded. I'm honestly pretty surprised how banged up this thing is. They must have really just abused the crap out of it without an attachment on there. So now you can see how easily I can slide that 50 millimeter pin in there, and that's kind of nice because being able to kind of make sure that everything lines up shows me that while this thing is in pretty bad shape, it's definitely salvageable, and I'm using some 3-in-1 oil every time I put that in and out. Now, once I realized that I could get it lined up, I decided to go back over to the grinding table and just grind out a couple more of those cracks before I could start kind of positioning things to weld them. I wanted to V out everything that I could, so I actually used a Pferd DuoDisc, which is a grinding and cutting disc, so that you can kind of grind as you cut. You're not really supposed to grind with cutting discs. You're not supposed to give them that side load, but Pferd has a disc specifically made for that I've made a whole video about. And it's pretty convenient for repair work like this because you don't have to switch back and forth, and you can get into kind of hard to reach places. It's called the DuoDisc. So after grinding a bunch of these little cracks out, I'm kind of just chasing things and then hitting them with the wire wheel, because I am going to be welding this, and I don't want to strip all the paint off, but I don't really want to be breathing in all that paint fumes. And also too, when you try to weld too close to paint, a lot of times the welds catch fire and you never really get good penetration. The other main area that I needed to grind out was just where the general crack was, and I wanted to get rid of a bunch of that rust and just give it a nice heavy bevel so I could do a full penetration weld and make this thing really strong. Now you can see me putting that pin back in there. You can see it really lines things up, but I am going to need a little bit of a stiffener. So I decided to grind away some of the paint on the face of this, and then I'm going to weld on a bar, which will temporarily keep everything lined up so I don't have to try to clamp it to the table, and I'll still have 360-degree access. I'm just putting a couple of tack welds on this because from all the heat that I'm going to sink into it, it's definitely going to warp. So I want to be able to counteract that warping as best I can. Now I can start the welding. I'm going to try to jump around this piece because if I weld all the kind of one seam in one shot, it's going to warp kind of more significantly than it would if I kind of move around the piece. Anytime you weld anything that could warp and really affect it, you really want to kind of bounce around and let different parts of the piece cool and try to counteract the warping as best you can. Overall, the material welded fine. I think it was just basically mild steel, nothing crazy. And once it was pretty much welded up, I could go ahead and cut those tacks off and pull this bar off. Now I realized pretty quickly that even though I was able to weld this thing, I would probably still need to bring it over to the arbor press and straighten it out after the welding. You can see it's pretty difficult for me to get the pin out, not impossible. I'm using a brass hammer and my brass punch. So while I did line everything up, it definitely warped a little bit from the welding process, and that's okay. I wasn't that surprised that that happened. There was one section that I couldn't get to right in the middle, so I chased it out with the wire wheel and just gave it a quick weld. You can see how nice and beveled everything was, and everything penetrated really well, and I was very happy with the welds I was able to get on this piece. There was a couple of welds still to do on the back section, and I really wasn't able to get the paint off of there, so I'll wind up welding that in a little bit. But first I'm going to check the alignment and see which way I have to move this. It's very close, but it definitely needs a little bit better of alignment. So that's where we're going to go back over to the press. And I set up a couple of blocks. You can see it's so much better now. And you can see those welds are strong enough for me to still manipulate it and bend it a little bit. Now I'm bending it and then checking it with the pin. And what's nice is that this piece is small enough that I can handle it. Obviously, if this was a piece off of like a really big machine, I wouldn't be able to just carry it and move it around. And this is the only thing I probably shouldn't have done. I tried to tweak one side and I went up against that bending ear, that pin ear, and I wound up bending that. So I'm going to correct that a little bit later in the video. But at this point, I'm able to get the pin into both of the sleeves, which I was pretty happy with. I felt like the alignment was good enough for me to continue. There was a couple of other small little welds I needed to do, but nothing that I thought would kind of affect the warping or kind of affect the fit up. So I did those couple of little tacks, finished up a little bit of the welding, and once I checked the alignment, I knew that everything was still going to work out. And I just had a little bit of grinding to do to kind of flatten everything now that everything was welded up. Overall, using this pin I think was definitely the way to go. For the 60 bucks, I think it was worth the investment, and now obviously I have it. So now with all that welding done and everything in a good spot, I can grind away some of those welds on the face. And I'm using this new disc from Pferd. This is the CC Grind View. You might be able to notice you can kind of see through it as you grind. It's pretty cool. It's actually really nice for something like this because I can try to take as little away from the base material as possible when I'm trying to grind something that I don't want to just sort of just remove a ton of material. Now with all that done, I can go back out to the machine and kind of see how it fits up on the machine, and then I can address that bent bar on the actual arms of the machine. Now this was the machine that had the blown motor, and now that that's all repaired, it's pretty reliable. It starts really well. The other thing I decided to do was use some 3-in-1 oil and some cylinder hones that go on the end of a drill to just hone out the actual sleeves in the machine. And that worked pretty well. It actually made that shaft fit really nicely. Now here's my thought on how I'm going to repair this bent bar. I don't really want to cut it off and re-weld it, and because it's bent, it's definitely messing up the alignment of those pins on either side of the arm. So what I decided to do was bust out my Harris torch with a Rosebud on it and just put a jack stand against the machine. Now by keeping the machine running and getting that nice and hot, I can actually use the hydraulics to pull that bar back against the machine up against the jack stand, which is, in my opinion, probably the opposite way that it was bent whenever they, I guess, crashed this machine into a tree or something like that. So you can see it's a little tricky, and it doesn't really come out super straight. But I thought this was a pretty slick method to kind of use the hydraulic system to my advantage and some heat from that Rosebud to straighten this out and hopefully realign those pins. It would have been nice to have a second person here because it was a little difficult to do this by myself. I kind of had to wedge it and then get the torch on and then get it hot and try to keep that jack stand from falling out. But you can see I'm definitely able to get it nice and hot, even though this is probably about 1.25 inch bar, and bend it using the jack stand. Now, obviously, in a perfect world, I would have gotten this perfectly straight, but at this point, I was really just trying to get the alignment better and sort of get that major bend out. And you can see, even just with that little bit of tweaking I did, I was able to get the alignment good enough that I could get the pin all the way through, or at least almost all the way through, and then I could continue kind of putting this thing back together. Now, I decided to use the hone on this side as well and just kind of clean these up. There was a lot of surface rust inside the bores, and now the pins fit really nicely. Now here I have to correct that little mistake that I made on the arbor press, or on the H-frame press, where I bent that arm, and you can see things are working out fine now that I bent it back over the anvil. Now with everything all cleaned up, everything actually fits together really nicely, which is great. And I'm just sort of doing a test fit here just to make sure that there's no binding, and it's really easy to move, which is good because it will keep those pins from wearing out, especially when I repair the grease fittings. I went ahead and put the actual movement cylinder on the top so I could test that as well. And once the machine was started, I could see it was moving really nicely and didn't really seem to be binding up in any way, which means I was pretty happy with the repair. This is exactly what I needed to do, and it's definitely going to, help this machine just operate that much better. Now it's just time to finish it up. So I pulled the pins out and I pulled the bar off. I wire wheeled a little bit of this area so that I could give it a fresh coat of paint, and I just filled the bore holes with some paper towels and then hit it with some satin black paint just to kind of match everything and keep it all clean, keep anything that I ground from rusting, and make it all look nice. Now for the actual piece itself, I decided to use some self-etching primer to prime this piece because this will probably have water that sits behind my attachment and sits on it, so I wanted to make sure that I primed it really well so that the paint would stick to it. And for this, I'm just using a flat black Rust-Oleum paint and painted everything inside and out so that it would be nice and clean. Now the last thing I needed to address was putting these handles back on. Now you can see I painted them red and I got new springs. These are kind of like a twist lock handle. They're not great. I would have rather a lever style, but I really didn't want to replace this whole bracket, and this works pretty well. Once those things are seated down, there's really no reason for them to pop back up. And I think I might maybe add some sort of a locking system at some point, but for now I think they're going to be fine. All my attachments are pretty tight. Now the broken Zerk fitting, I was able to go through my kind of bins of metric and standard fittings, and I found one, I think it was a 3/8 20 or something like that. I was surprised that it wasn't a metric considering this machine is an import, but I decided to replace both of them because they were both a little crusty, and now I'll be able to make sure that I actually get grease down into those pin sleeves and keep this thing operating well. You can see with the paint dry, everything looks good, and I pre-greased those pins before I put them in, and then I just put them into the sleeves. I was able to kind of reassemble this thing. Of course, I got grease all over everything, but that's pretty standard when you put something back together. And then I was just able to use the grease gun to kind of grease all the different ports over here. I got to go through and actually grease this whole machine, but for now, I just wanted to grease these pins and make sure that everything was moving and functioning well. Now you can see everything's nice and flat now. The bar is much better. It's definitely not perfect, but that's better. And now I can add my fork attachment where I had the forks taken off it so I could kind of hold them up. And we can give this thing a little test run. What I really like about this machine, normally I have a forklift, obviously a 2-wheel drive forklift, but with these tracks I can get all around my gravel driveway without getting stuck. Here is some heavy wall tube. This is a 3.5 by 3.5 by 3/8 wall, so this stuff's got some mass to it, and I decided I wanted to get it down in the driveway. That's a little tricky to pick up because obviously I can't hold it on the forks. And the only other thing I kind of worry about with this machine is it definitely likes to tear up the gravel. But once I kind of got this stuff picked up and I was able to get a strap on it, while it was a little bit ridiculous the way I had to carry it down, it definitely was nicer than actually having to carry it by hand. And while this isn't actually what I'm going to be using this machine for, it was convenient to be able to do it. I'm super happy that I was able to get this machine fixed. This and a couple other small things were really the only things wrong with it, and I got it covered with my new digger lid, and that's it. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and leave a comment down below if you have any questions. See you on the next one.